show?
That's right, only one. In exchange for hours of sport, lifestyle, international, local and kids entertainment.
This is gonna be great!
Go TV, live it, love it.
Welcome to the news on Zodiac with me, Chancellor Zabanda. The headlines. Public Protector Chizuma tears apart recruitment procedures at MERA and procedural hiring of CEO Magalasi. Clusters and councils retain COVID funds to government as per task force order. All set for 30th March by-elections, 2.7 billion kwacha released from Treasury. Elsewhere, Tanzanian first female president Samia Suluhu Hassan sworn in. We now give you the news in detail. Ombudsman Martha Chizuma says the Democratic Progressive Party administration bypassed MERA board in the hiring of Dr. Collins Magalasi as Chief Executive Officer. The Ombudsman pronounced the findings of her office following an investigation into how some officials were recruited at MERA, including Dr. Magalasi. Meanwhile, Ombudsman Martha Chizuma has given Malawi Energy Regulatory Authority until June 30th to act on recommendations in a report into issues of maladministration in the recruitment of its top officials. The report is billed institutional anarchy. Chimwe Padata has filed this report.
Ombudsman Chizuma has given MERA until June 30th to act on recommendations of the report. She has also advised MERA board to give feedback on the recommendations by the end of this month. Investigations into maladministration at MERA has seen a number of directives. One of such is that the suspended MERA CEO pays back his end-of-term benefits. Other individuals who were recruited in the botched process will revert back to their initial positions.
People will have to revert back to their old position. Those are victims of maladministration that I'm talking about.
MERA's board member Fires Manguluti gave an assurance the recommendations will be acted upon within the specified time frame.
We are going to give feedback accordingly, and also this will also help us to move forward with the review of policies that we were supposed to review so that we make MERA a better place to work in and a conducive environment for everyone.
Ombudsman Chizuma has since advised MERA to release vacancies for the positions that were recruited and procedurally. 2 positions of Director of Economic Regulation and Director of Liquid Fuel and Gas have, however, been sustained on grounds that individuals were recruited within the law. 2 more reports into the performance of statutory corporations are to be released next week. This is Chimwe Padata for Zodiac.
Councils that were ordered to retain what they received for the COVID-19 response have finally paid back the public funds. Task Force Co-Chairperson Dr. Wilfred Jalamilankoma told us that his task force is screening revised work plans submitted by clusters and councils. But economist Dr. Bechani Chedeni fears that the move could cripple the spirit of decentralization. Wilson Henry has filed this report.
In February this year, government ordered all clusters and councils to transfer back about 17.5 billion kwacha they received for the COVID-19 response following resolutions made by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 at a meeting held in Lilongwe to guide the utilization of the funds. The councils were also ordered to submit their proposed activity plans on how they intend to spend their allocations before end of that month. But Task Force Co-Chairperson Dr. Wilfred Jalamilankoma told us that the concerned parties have now paid back the money.
We are, as a task force, going through the work plans that were submitted to us,
and we will submit those back to the councils and clusters with our comments, asking them to finalize them, and as soon as they finalize them, they will be funded again.
However, economic expert Dr. Bechan said the move might have the potential to cripple decentralization policy and aspirations in councils.
We need to understand exactly what that means. Does it mean that we have done the audits and we have found that the district councils are the ones which misappropriated the money? Those are questions that we really need to understand properly. If you do the mathematics and find out how much money went to district councils, you're going to be shocked. It's not even to the north of 1.5 or 2 billion. The rest of the money was actually in ministries and the Dodima itself.
Mid-February, President Chakwera directed the interdiction of controlling officers, including 10 principal secretaries, 28 DCs and 5 CEOs over mismanagement of 6.2 billion kwacha COVID-19 response funds.
And still on COVID-19, government is mum on its final decision on plans to give teachers a once-off COVID allowance as per agreement when suspending the teachers' sit-in. Co-chair of the task force, Dr. Wilfred Chalamila has told us a decision has been made, but not yet for public consumption, as the committee is yet to report to the Parliamentary Joint Committee on Education. More in this report filed by Nafe Mlamba.
The Teachers Union of Malawi TUM suspended a stairway of teachers who were protesting in an attempt to force government to give them risk allowance. This was after intervention from a joint parliamentary committee on education as efforts by the Ministry of Education proved futile. In the agreement, TUM and the Ministry of Education agreed to remove the provision of personal protective equipment for teachers and instead pay them a once-off allowance. The matter was sent to COVID-19 Task Force for action, and co-chairperson of the committee, Dr. Wilfred Chalamila has told us the decision has been made, but could not diverge more as a report will have to be presented in Parliament on the matter.
We will be communicating to the Parliamentary Committee to take the necessary appropriate action. The action will not be taken by us. The action will be taken by those who requested and to whom the response is going to be sent. The decision that we have made, we will communicate to those who requested. It is obviously inappropriate for me to tell you what the decision is.
Education expert Limbani Sapato has since challenged government to ensure it has honoured the agreement.
Government should provide and honour the promise that was made to the teacher, which was to provide a kind of allowance for them by the PPPs on their own.
When suspending the strike, TUM said it may resume if government fails to honour its promise.
Minister of Trade Sostin Gwengwe has admitted that government is facing challenges to prevent foreign nationals from operating small businesses in the country. The minister said when answering questions in Parliament that some Malawians connive with such traders when acquiring business licenses, which is one of the major challenges affecting government's efforts. He has since proposed solutions which include law reform to reverse the trend. More in this report filed by Winston Kaimira.
Responding to questions on a ministerial statement he made in Parliament on small and medium enterprises, Minister of Trade Sostin Gwengwe described the increasing number of foreign nationals who are operating small businesses in the country as a headache for his ministry. He noted that most of the foreign traders use Malawians to register their businesses. Gwengwe also said some responsibilities that government ministries have in addressing this need to be consolidated. This comes at a time some local traders have threatened to take unspecified action over government's failure to stop foreign nationals operating small businesses in the country. The Friday parliamentary proceedings started with questions going to various government ministries such as of local government, transport and tourism. For instance, Mangochi Central legislator Victoria Kingston asked the government to find lasting solutions to the spread of bilharzia among people who swim in Lake Malawi, saying the challenge frustrates tourism activities along the Lake Malawi. Ministers of Tourism and Health, Dr. Michael Usi and Kumbizeka Ndodo Chiponda respectively, assured the parliamentarian that responsible government ministries will come together to protect lives and safeguard the lake. This is Winston Kaimira for Zodiak.
Meanwhile, government says it will take records of all idle estates in the country to ensure they are used productively. Minister of Lands Ken Msukwa also said in a ministerial statement in Parliament his ministry is digitalizing land records to avoid manipulation of the information system in illegal transaction by some land officers. This comes at a time some citizens in districts such as Mulanje have been asking government to facilitate the process of giving them land from some foreign estate owners. Msukwa explains.
On the reforms that are happening on land management, we are reviewing the laws, not only as directed by the President, but also informed by the piloting that we are doing in the 8 districts of this country. So out of that piloting, we are getting issues, either for or against the laws that were enacted in 2016. So that's basically what we are doing now. We want to identify all the idle estates so that we can make them to good use. We shall provide them MITIC so that they can give it to developers. Developers will be able to make those estates productive, either by growing crops or by growing animals on those estates. However, if the estate owners that have had those estates idle, they themselves want to activate the estates by having to find financing so that they can have it developed, we will accept that.
And still with Parliament, Southern Region Water Board says its planned 23 billion kwacha water supply and sanitation project to benefit over 150,000 households in Liwonde and Balaka, respectively. Acting Chief Executive Officer Duncan Chambamba disclosed this during an interface with members of Parliament through the Budget and Finance and Natural Resources Committees in Lilongwe Thursday. The meeting was aimed at lobbying the legislators to support a loan authorization bill to allow the board borrow 28 million euros, which are funds for the project. Madalitso P with the details.
The acting chief executive officer for Southern Region Water Board, Duncan Chambamba, said the project is as a result of the board's failure to supply adequate water to Liwonde and Balaka, among other areas.
Currently, we have a challenge in supplying water to Liwonde and Balaka. Basically, we are not meeting demand because the system that is there now was designed to expire in 2015.
And the board's chairperson, Ibrahim Matola, backed the decision to lobby the parliamentarians to support the loan authorization bill.
It is very usual and normal to lobby with members of parliament when the institution has a bill to be tabled in parliament. As we know that members of parliament have got a lot of documentation to look into, but we thought it to organize this lobby consultation meeting in order to debrief the members of parliament on the bill which will be tabled in parliament.
In his remarks, Chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Natural Resources, Wiran Chirenga, welcomed the proposal by Southern Region Water Board.
As the Parliament, we are very happy to see a money bill from Southern Region Water Board. All along, we have been doing projects for Northern Region Water Board, Lilongwe Water Board, Blantyre Water Board. What was missing was Central Region Water Board and Southern Region Water Board. Now that Southern Region Water Board has come up with such proposal, we are more than excited as members of Parliament. Water is life. We represent people. We want people in our constituencies to have clean water.
The loan authorization bill is expected to be tabled in Parliament in the current sitting. For Zodiak, this is Madalitso Piri reporting.
You're watching the news here on Zodiac. We'll be back with more after this.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Hidiko ndikutenga iwe lonjezo ndikuzitengera iwe lonjezo kukhala mkazi wanga kufikira imfa izatirekanise.
Hidiko yafika.
Hidiko
Ndani safuna nyumba ya bwino kapena malo opatsa chikoka. Housing Investment and Development Cooperative Hidiko kungokhala membala mutha kusankha malo kukwaniritsa maloto a nyumba. Tili ndi Hidicoville ku Lilongwe, malo amakono komwe moyo wanu udzafewe. Tilinso ndi malo maboma ena. Khalani ndi umwini wa Housing Cooperative ya Hidiko pokhala membala uku mukusunga chuma, kumanga nyumba ndi kulandira phindu. Membala akatisiya, banja lake lidzapatsidwa double ya ndalama za umembala. Imvani zambiri pa nambala izi. Maloto wa nyumba asafere m'mazira. Hidiko ilipo.
Hidiko Housing Investment and Development Cooperative.
Welcome back. You're with me, Chance Mozobanda. Before we continue with the news, let's take another look at the top stories. Public Protector Chizuma tears apart recruitment procedures at Mera. Clusters and councils return COVID funds to government as per task force order. All set for 30 March by-elections, 2.7 billion kwacha released from Treasury. Elsewhere, Tanzanian first female president Samia Suluhu Hassan sworn in. Moving on with the news, chairperson of the Malawi Electoral Commission, Justice Chifundo Kachali, says all is set for the 30th March by-elections as Treasury has made available the 2.7 billion requested for the exercise. Dr. Kachali said this Friday morning at the start of a 3-day training of trainers on polling procedures and results management. Kachali has since called on all staff to follow the laws to avoid electoral disputes arising from the polls. Andrew Viano has filed this report.
With time fast ticking to March 30 by elections, Malawi Electoral Commission says all is set for polls as funds that will be used for running of the polls have been made available by Treasury. MEC chairperson Dr. Chifundo Kachali said this on Friday on the sidelines of training for the trainers in Lilongwe. Dr. Kachali further added that MEC will set up a tally center in Lilongwe in order to centralize reception of electoral results during the polls.
These are the staff that are going to be training our polling staff for the 30th March by-elections. So that includes all the presiding officers and the staff that they'll be working with. And these are the people who are supposed to train all those staff in all the polling procedures in terms of the actual setup of the polling center, how you do all the processes of verifying that there's nothing in the ballot box and ensuring that all your people that you're supposed to have are available on the ground.
One of the participants, Emilia Chadza, said the training will prepare them on what to do ahead of the polls.
This training is going to prepare us to train the presiding officers and the other staff in the field so that they have the uniform information and conduct the elections on the polling day successfully.
The March 30th by-elections will be conducted in 7 constituencies and wards in the country.
Let's now move on to sports. The National Youth Football Association has set aside 24 April and 1st May for its district and regional elections following the expiry of the current committee's mandate. According to the Electoral Committee's Secretary, Wasau Kanyirenda, this is in line with filling the vacant positions as reports indicate the game of football might return from the COVID-19 induced break in a couple of days. Brad Kanyama has a report.
The Electoral Committee, which is being headed by NYFA Vice Chairperson Mwawe Manza, has announced that it will start the process of managing the regional and district elections by opening the nomination period on 22nd March and will run up to 11th of April 2021. The final list of candidates will be confirmed on 14th April, with the actual elections set for 24 April in all the 3 regions. The committee's secretary, Wasauka Nyirenda, says the mandate of the current regional committees expired, and with the games earmarked to resume soon, the positions must be filled, hence the call for elections.
So now everything is set, and we are just waiting for time to start receiving nominations and subsequently holding the elections. So one must have been actively involved in football, especially youth football, for a period of not less than 1 year, and he or she must not be convicted of any criminal offense and is not involved in active politics.
Youth football in the country has been on hold for close to 2 years, and those that will be elected will be tasked to oversee the total resumption of youth games in their respective regions. Football as a whole has also been heavily hit by the COVID-19 pandemic, which forced Super League of Malawi to temporarily suspend Super League matches, but reports are emerging that matches might return as early as 3 April. For Zodiak, this is Bright Kanyama.
Elsewhere, Tanzania has sworn in first female president, Ms. Samia Suluhu Hassan, following the death of President John Magufuli. The swearing-in took place Friday morning, but with the presidency flag half-mast as mourning is underway of the late Magufuli. In her acceptance speech, Hassan calls for unity and an end to finger-pointing. Jacqueline Shema has more in this BBC report.
61-year-old Samia Suluhu Hassan has become Tanzania's first female president. She took her oath of office in the commercial capital Dar es Salaam Friday. The Chief Justice there oversaw proceedings, which took place 2 days after the death in the office of President John Magufuli. Ms. Hassan, who comes from the semi-autonomous island of Zanzibar, had served as Magufuli's deputy since 2015, and they were both elected for a second term in October last year. Soon after taking the oath, a 21-gun salute was fired in her honor as the new commander-in-chief of the armed forces. She then inspected a military parade, and the flag of the presidency was raised, but only to half-mast as the country is in mourning. The swearing-in took place at State House in Tanzania's most populous city. Jacqueline Shema, Zodiak, Lilongwe.
Well, that's it for now. Let's take another look at the headlines before we leave. Public Protector Chizuma tears apart recruitment procedures at MERA and procedure without fail. It could save your life and that of others. My name is Chancellor Mozabanda. Thanks for watching and have a nice weekend.